Good evening, Fernwood. It is your blood-donating buddy Neil, and it's time for us to give a little with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 174 from December 2nd, 1976. I believe it's time to do our recap. Last night, Tom woke Mary up with some affection and flirting as he has been doing well at work. Mary takes his mood down just a little bit when she mentions tippy toes, and then cuts back to a flashback with scenes we haven't seen of Mary and Annie together that suggests that Annie may be bisexual. Tom suggests that Mary put it out of her mind and they go to bed. In the New Jersey jail cell, we see a nicely dressed man with a suit and shoulder holsters join the cell. As Dr. Fracas is released, Charlie and the man named Sue strike up a sudden friendship as they realize they both have a love for country music. And when Charlie mentions that Loretta is the one who sings Baby Boy, Sue gets really interested. Sue finds out information about the Capri Lounge and says that Charlie now has a godfather watching over him. And then back at the Shumways, Martha and HB get back from what looks like a date. They have a bit of a flirtation, though Martha is still holding out hope that George will reappear. Grandpa Larkin comes home as their flirtation escalates, and Mary shows up to warn Martha that there is an AC/DC in their lawn. And to that, Martha wonders what Mary was talking about because all there is out there is Tippy Toe's trailer. That's all the recap I've got for yesterday's episode. I believe we can start Thursday right now.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
I've got the sun to tan me, palms to fan me, and an occasional man. I love my island, it's very lazy. If I should ever leave it, I'd be crazy. Coming? Oh, Martha, what is it? Is something wrong?
Oh, no, Annie, honey, nothing's wrong. Oh, it's cold. I mean, can't a neighbor pay a nice, friendly visit without something being wrong?
Oh, of course, it's just that it's so early.
It is? Well, now that George is gone, I always wake up and get up before the alarm goes off, so I won't be reminded of him not going to work at the plant.
But it's 6 a.m., and you look like you've been up for hours.
Then maybe there is something wrong. Oh, now I remember. I did not sleep a wink all night long, and you want to know why? Because we have AC/DC trouble right here in this driveway. I hope it didn't give you any trouble.
AC/DC trouble?
Yes, Mary came over very late last night and warned me that she had found out that we have AC/DC trouble in this driveway, and I could not sleep a wink all night. Oh, I worry so about electrical problems. When I was about 8 years old, I stuck my finger into a light socket, and I cannot tell you, I'll never forget it.
Well, I don't think Mary was referring to electrical problems.
Oh, no, well, I was so afraid we would have an explosion.
Well, it depends on what kind of explosion you mean.
Well, the kind of explosion you have when your wires get shorted out or you touch a plug with a screwdriver, something like that.
Well, that can be very dangerous, too. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing. But you see, I was trying to explain to Mary. I was trying to make her, broaden her awareness is what I was really trying to do.
Breaker 19, come in.
Oh, well, that's just my CB.
Oh, I have such a hard time getting all this straightened out, like AC, DC, CB, and then, of course, there's HV, my beau. It's so hard to keep all these initials straight.
Nothing. This is Big Honey in a jam. Over and under, and I mean under the sheets. Big Honey is hot. Big Honey is ready. Big Honey is yours for the words that Bill Cullen made famous. Her 20s.
She's been calling for help all day.
Is she having trouble, too? Is her boiler overheated or something? I'll never get onto the CB lingo.
Well, all I know is her name is Big Honey, and she comes on to every male voice within range.
There are some women who find it very hard to communicate with other women, and then there are some who can communicate too well.
Breaker 19. This is Big Honey and a delicious jam that needs licked off.
Oh, I wish that woman would stop that. She's making me so hungry.
That's just her sexy come on to a trucker.
Oh, that is fascinating. I wonder what she looks like. Probably about 35 with a big bust and gloves. She sounds like she wears white gloves, a little soiled.
Do you want to ask her?
Yes, ask her where she lives, her address, you know. She may be a neighbor.
Come in, Big Honey. What's your 20?
No, just her address, not her age. That's rude.
That's CB lingo for location.
After all these years, I just got the knack of how to talk to people, and now they've gone and changed the whole dictionary. Hello?
Loretta, is that you?
Charlie, honey! Oh, I can't. Thank you very much, Lord. I appreciate it. Jody, it's Charlie! Darling, how are you? Oh, honey, where are you right now? I mean, listen, all I want you to do is to come home because I love you so very much, and I've been a wreck without you.
Hey, honey, I'm all right. I just wanted to let you know that I'm out of jail and everything along the legal line has all been taken care of.
Oh, Charlie, that's wonderful, honey. That means you'll probably be home by tonight, right? Oh, darling, I mean, now that you're out of jail and everything, that blue old creepy mood you was in is probably past and everything.
Loretta, I told you, honey, I cannot come home in the puny condition that I left it in. Now, you're going to be fine, sweetheart. You're just going to be fine.
Well, Charlie...
Hey, Charlie, how am I going to get along without you, buddy? Not to mention Loretta here, whose old heart's just about as down as an old Porsche what's been driving on $2.98 shocks.
Is that bad, huh?
Oh, worse, maybe. But she don't care about you-know-what. She's just interested in you-know-who. Back here. Me too.
Charlie, listen. Now, listen to me. I don't know what he meant about that Porsche or nothing, but Charlie, I don't care what condition you're in or nothing. Honestly, just come home any old way you want to. The important thing is you've got to come home.
Honey, you got anybody else visiting you?
No, there's no one here. I don't even want anybody visiting me.
I thought maybe Merle would be there for the countdown for the kill, you know, like...
Charlie, I don't care. Merle just came over that day, and I haven't even seen him, and I don't care if I ever see him again as long as I live. And the only reason Jody's here is because he loves you, and he misses you, and he needs you just as much as I do.
Well, I'm glad Jody's there. He's just where he ought to be. That's where he ought to be, is right there with you. You ought to be together. The two of you ought to be just together and take care of each other, and everything will be fine.
Charlie, everything will not be fine until you're coming home where you belong with me.
I am where I belong, Loretta, which is out of your life. So you can start new and get a fresh start with a real man, which Lord knows I know is what you need, sweetheart.
Charlie, I don't need anything but you. That's the only thing I need. Now, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
I don't want you worrying about me. I don't want you... That's the last thing I want you to do is worry about me, honey. I don't want you to think about me ever again. Now, do you understand that? I don't want you to think about me ever again. Goodbye, honey. I love you a lot, but I can't talk to you anymore because I can't stand to listen to your sweet voice.
Hey, Charlie, what? You okay?
Yeah.
Charlie, why don't you come home?
I got it. Why don't we take the winnings that I got left over from the big race and just go out and find them?
Really?
Yeah, my dad always says that if you wanted somebody, you didn't write them, you didn't call them, you just went out and got them.
Are you serious? I mean, really, you do that with the money that you want and everything? You would go and help me find Charlie, my baby boy. Jody, are you serious? That is so unselfish of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh, that is fabulous.
New Jersey, here we come.
Oh, that is great.
Loretta, kiss me like you love me.
Well, I do love you, Jody. I love you. You know, like a brother, a little brother. Oh, Jody. I miss Charlie so much. I really do. You know, it's just, and I really appreciate your doing this and everything. It's a great idea. It really is.
I don't feel like a little brother. I'll go get the car ready.
I'll go upstairs and pack, okay?
Loretta, listen, I was thinking that, you know, it's really getting too late to do much anything, and maybe we could just start in the morning and sleep here and start out fresh and early.
No, we really should, we should really be going there tonight, because if we wait till in the morning, it'd probably be too late.
Yeah,
So.
but I need some sleep.
Well, we'll just do it in the car.
You mean that? That's a great idea.
You know what? See.
I always like it better in the car.
Water, sugar, sodium pentamate. Sodium pentamate, an unsafe food additive. Out, damn spot. Okay, now, soy flour. I wonder if the soy flour is good. I mean, soy flour is always good. But just in case, soy flour. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Mary, the door was unlocked. Are you all right? Oh, you're not having a relapse, are you?
No, Wanda, just don't come near me while I'm holding the soy flour, okay? Just back up a little. Back up, okay? I'm going to be coming right by. Back up there. Back up. Okay. Now look at this, Wanda. This is the Food and Drug Administration Enforcement Report published weekly. I just subscribe to it. Now look at this. Soy flour, which I just threw out, in 24-ounce boxes, manufactured by Monroe Inc., Toledo, Ohio, recalled due to salmonella contamination. My cupboards were being tinted by salmonella contamination. Well, now they're fine, but,
No, they just say that to drive the certified milk dealers out of business. Besides, I have something much more important to talk about.
Oh, really?
I have found the most perfect, modern, new apartment on Bellevue Avenue. I just signed the lease this morning. It's a lovely one-bedroom, 2 baths.
Really? Well, fake stuff in Saccharin?
No, thanks.
1 bedroom and 2 baths? It's that modern?
Very. See, 1 bedroom assures you that overnight guests that stay over don't get the wrong idea about staying in the other bedroom. But they still benefit from having their own bathroom.
Is that like keeping the double bed instead of going out and buying the king?
Yeah, exactly. The closer, the better.
Let me ask you a question. Do you suppose that's why rich people who live in castles are never, seem as happy as poor people who live in bungalows?
No, Mary, that's just a myth. No, poor people are only happy when they get tickets to The Price is Right.
Wanda, we've got to talk.
Well, I thought that's what we were doing.
No, we've got to have a very serious talk. Now, why are you moving into a 1-bedroom with 2 baths and probably a sauna?
On the roof. It's so Merle will move in with me.
As I suspected. Now, Wanda, it is my duty as your dear friend to warn you about Merle Jeters, who, although is very attractive, is not to be trusted.
Well, how do you say that? Tell me.
He does come on to all the women. Now, I am standing here by this door in case Tom should run in unexpectedly and overhear what I say. Wanda, he even came on to me. Mr. Merle Jeters even came on to me. Mary Penny Hartman.
Look, I know all about Merle's little fatal weakness. Well, that's exactly why I want him to move in with me and share my sauna, so I can have him all to myself and feed him and care for him and let him know a house can be a home, so he won't want to go and spend his nights in trailers with a woman who's 51 but firm.
Wanda, another thing. Do you know what kind of a woman Tippy Toes is? Because if you knew, I don't think you'd worry. Tippy Toes is... Now, I'm not spreading gossip because this is true. But Tip may just possibly be, no. Yes, I'm going to say it. Bisexual. There, I said it. She just may possibly be bisexual. You know, ACBC.
DC, Mary. Tippy Toes is AC/DC? You're kidding. Well, isn't that exciting?
Who would ever think that a day would come in Fernwood when there would be a... Did you say exciting?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm surprised, but definitely not shocked.
Wanda, let me see those mints, please. What are these? Easy Bite Mary mints? Hold here a second. Okay, now, I just want to check this with the list. Easy Bite Mary mints. It's just as I suspected. These must be recalled. They have red dye number 2. Sorry, Wanda.
But they were so tasty.
Well, you don't seem to understand. Tippy Toes likes women in the biblical sense, which I find very hard to believe since she was married and does have 2 grown children.
Mary, look, at some point in life, everyone falls in love with a member of the same sex, don't you think? Well, I know it happened to me.
Wanda, it isn't necessary to lie with me.
At summer camp, I fell madly in love with my counselor, JoJo Spinelli. Oh, she was everything I wanted to be. You know, the flip hairdo, the sweatshirts, the gold ankle bracelet. Well, we kissed a couple of times, you know. Perfectly harmless, puppy love. Well, surely the same things happened to you.
Me, Mary, never. Never. Wanda, I swear on this FDA report that this is an area in which I have no experience.
Mary, it's not that unusual. Having sex with a member of the same sex is very sophisticated. It was very big in the 30s.
Have you ever, as a grown-up?
Oh, no. No, not exactly, but I did look up JoJo Spinelli when I was in New York a couple of years ago. She was working as a cab driver. A lovely woman. Well, I mean, I am sophisticated, but up to a point.
Excuse me, it's probably another disaster. Hello?
Mary? Guess what? Little Garth is home. Yes.
He isn't home 10 minutes, and you've already got secrets against me. What the hell is going on here?
Mary, I'm sorry. I've got to hang up.
Okay. We had a lot of things happen there. And, you know, let's talk about them. Starting with Martha visiting the trailer and warning Tippy Toes about AC/DC dangers. And I love that Martha has absolutely no idea what she's talking about, but Tippy Toes picks up on it. You know, now we're seeing a little more queer content in this show, which, you know, we had a gay couple in the last season, but now we're seeing Tippy Toes is potentially bisexual. She didn't really say very clearly what her inclinations were, but clearly there's some fun behavior from Big Honey, I think her name was, on the CB, who's been kind of sexy every time we've heard her voice. And maybe Tippy Toes is a little more open-minded than Mary, and you know, it's still fun. This is, I think, the first scene I've seen with Tippy Toes and Martha in the same trailer, and they're about the same age in this show, and just so different from each other, and that's a lot of refreshing for me. Because, you know, generally in the show, being older made you kind of less together. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Grandpa was a little bit of a Martha's a little bit of a, and then George was, you know, I'm not finishing those sentences, but I think you know what I mean. But to compare Tippy Toes, who's fairly open-minded and fairly together, with Martha, who's fairly scattered all the time, that's a fun comparison. And maybe Annie is, is bisexual, and good for her if she is. Then we cut straight over to next door with Loretta and Jody getting a call from Charlie, and Charlie is firm that he's not coming back. That means to Jody, let's make a plan to go get him. There's fireworks going off outside of my apartment, so you might hear some banging. It's not intentional, but I can't help it. In any case, they set up a plan to go to New Jersey, at which point Jody asks Loretta to kiss him like she loved him. Loretta tries to play off that it is a brotherly love that she feels for him. Although I think in the one time we've seen them kiss, well, there have been two, but the first time we saw them kiss, she felt something that wasn't stated, but there was a very clear sense that she got some excitement out of it. And then the last time was a celebratory kiss, which we didn't see. Clearly, Jody is developing erotic feelings for Loretta, perhaps. I'm not sure if they're romantic just yet. That's a different question, but there's certainly something going on there. And Loretta tries to put that off, and she definitely has feelings for Charlie. That's been all she's talked about. So Jody asking this of Loretta is a bit much, if you ask me. Maybe you feel differently. Feel free to tell me if you do down in the comments. And of course, Charlie is still connected to Sue, who apparently is connected to a godfather who is looking over Charlie. So glad he's out of jail, but also, what kind of trouble are you in now, Charlie? I guess we may find out tomorrow since it's Friday, but who knows at this point. Then we come back to Mary, who is clearing her kitchen of all the FDA non-recommended foods. I don't remember this period because I feel like by the time I was conscious of it, we knew certain ingredients were off the table, and those, we didn't have red M&Ms when I was a kid because there wasn't a red food dye that was good. Later, they found a red food dye that wasn't going to cause cancer, but at this point, yeah, getting rid of that red food dye. Not sure what was wrong with... Oh, yes, it was very clearly stated that soy flour from this specific mill was coated with salmonella, but generally I don't think of soy flour as being necessarily a bad thing. In any case, we get a visit from Wanda, who also reveals that she has some queer history in her past. A dabbling with same-sex eroticism between two young ladies in her past, and Mary is in the protest mode. I've never done this, I have no idea what's going on, and I can't say what's true or false, but she does protest a lot. So we'll see what's up there, but I think the plan that Wanda has to get this apartment so that Merle will move in is perhaps a bit... Well, it's competitive for sure, but it might be misguided. And Merle has made it clear that he's not interested in Wanda that way. And Wanda does know about Annie, and that Merle and Annie have been seeing each other. So it is clearly a competitive move to get this apartment, to have a space where people can come over. Sorry, that's what I meant. People can come over. And sorry about that. That was unintentional, but there's hot tub access, because who doesn't love a good hot tub, and 2 bathrooms so that your guest can do their thing later. I'd never heard of a 1-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment before, but I'm sure they exist. I just would never have thought of it as a thing. So I haven't lived that many places in my life. So hey everyone, that is our Thursday episode for this week. Next episode should be a banger. Thank you for watching with me. Thank you for all of the things that you've been sharing down in the comments, because I like it when we have stuff to talk about. That's why we watch the shows together, after all. Thank you for watching again, and we will see you tomorrow in Fernwood.